and we're going for the Twitter's Best Kept Secrets. Our speaker today is Alan Paulette. He is an SEO guru. In fact, if you Google SEO guru, he's the guy that you see. So he works tons in social media marketing, from YouTube optimization, LinkedIn optimization, and of course Twitter. So all types of social media, Pinterest, Facebook, everything. And actually, the last webinar he did was on LinkedIn for us. It's one of the first ones that we had. And I followed his tips, and I was able to optimize my LinkedIn profile in about 5 minutes based on his best practices. And it's made me the #1 ranked as a small business coach online. So that's all thanks to Alan. In about 40 minutes, he described that. And today, we're going to get 30 minutes from Alan Paulette. On to you.
Hi. Thanks for having me on the show. So today's all about Twitter. For those people who are not familiar with Twitter, think of it as a quick way to say something, like, hi, my name is, or some way that you can get 140 characters message out there. But that does not mean that you're limited to just saying text. In that 140 characters, you can put videos, you can put links, you can put pictures. So if you think of it this way, when you do a Google search, and I'm going to teach you about how Twitter and Google are very similar. You do a Google search. I did one for tweet baiting. You'll see that there's a link. This is a link to the article. Then you'll see a description about that link. Well, Twitter is the same thing. You have a description of text. You'll see that. Description of text. Well, I have a lot of Japanese ones, but you'll see a description of text, and sometimes you'll see a link within those tweets. So really, there's not much difference. The point is, when people do searches on Google, they're going to pages. Well, those pages can be your website. They can be videos from your website. They can be images from your website. The point is, you're trying to drive people into your website to create business. So the first thing you have to realize is that it's not just 140 characters. It's 140 pieces of content. So it could be links. It can be images, video, whatever you like. So what you have to do is make your description stand out above everyone else's description.
Hey, Alan, just to interrupt really quickly, I need you to talk a little bit louder. I know that's a little bit difficult for some people to hear. I know you were screaming all day yesterday, but we got to do it one more time. But this is really good. I like the fact that you're talking about the fact that it's not just 140 characters. The whole idea is to get you to the website. Why do you want people to go to the website? Like, why does the website convert business better than just Twitter?
So Twitter, because it's only 140 characters, that's really not enough to convert people. You want to have that squeeze page or some kind of page that has a call to action, has some really great content, has a form where they can fill it out, has a product that they can buy, has a shopping cart, has something that they can convert with. If you try to do it through Twitter, it really doesn't work that well. And that's where a lot of marketers failed. It used to be that marketers kept on complaining, oh, Twitter's so useless, it never converts. It's totally bogus. Actually, Twitter is one of the best converting sites out there. If you understand that you can't convert on Twitter itself, you have to convert through your website. So what you're doing is you're using your tweets to drive people to your website. That's the biggest mistake people make. They tweet all this stuff, and they're like, well, I'm not getting anything from this. But they're not sending people to their website. So make sure that when you tweet out something that it contains a link. That's
right. Perfect. You're much louder now, so that's a lot clearer. And I also like the fact that you're talking, I like that instead of saying it's not conversion, I mean conversion would be getting them to a website. I mean, it's just a different way of looking at what the goal is of each tool. Good.
Yeah. So one of the things I want to teach today, and I'm going to really talk about this one topic, and if you understand this one topic, you won't need any other topic in life because this will make your bread and butter for the rest of your life. I'm going to tell you a story about how I made $20,000 within 1 hour using Twitter. And the way I did it was basically understanding tweet baiting. If you do a search for tweet baiting on Google, I'm the #1 result. You can read my article about it. It only gives a little bit of the story, but I'm going to try to tell you the full story right now and show you how to do tweet baiting for your own business. So first thing you got to do is decide where you're going to send your potential visitors. So I have my recent blog post, which is a video, and I have a little blurb under it. And I'm going to take this video, and I'm going to, if you look at it, it's a pretty long URL. It's like alanpollett.com/blog, online reputation video. You know, it's a really long URL. That would almost be the 140 characters right there. If I tried to put that into Twitter, they will shorten it, but I'll lose my ability to get most of the other characters. I want to have my message being as strong as possible. So what I need to do is take it into another program. So I'm going to grab my URL, copy it, Control-C for all those people that are a little keyboard weak, and then I paste it into, paste it into here. So I pasted it into a site called Bitly, bitly.com. It's bitly.com. And what Bitly does is it allows you to create shortened URLs. So I just copied it into here, and it creates a shortened URL, which I can then use in my Twitter updates, my Twitter status updates. So I'm going to just take that. It's Bitly and then a ZH blah, blah, blah. So that's going to be my thing. I'm going to copy that. You just click on it to copy. I think that'll work. And I go into compose a new tweet. So I paste that. See? That's going to be my new tweet. So what I want to do is try to convince people to click that link. And the cool thing is, if you do that in Bitly, they actually have real-time stats. So you know how many people click that link immediately from tweeting it out. And we're going to do this live, so it's going to be interesting to see if people actually are going to click my link that I'm putting out there. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it interesting, as interesting as possible. It's a video. So watch this video on reputation management. Okay? So very simple. Now, if I tweet that gives the link. You'll see it updates eventually. Twitter's always slow. So you'll see that now it's in my timeline. I just tweeted it out. Now, if I go back to my Bitly, I can view the stats. And it will load in a second here. So what I'll see is how many people click that. And right now, I can see 0 clicks. Why didn't they click it? Well, maybe it wasn't enticing enough. So what you have to do is make it more enticing. The cool thing about Twitter is you can tweet as many times as you want, and people don't generally get upset with you. The little caveat to that is that you shouldn't tweet out more than 20 times a day. It gets a little bit much if you do that. So you can do the following, and this is how I made my 20,000 in 1 hour, is I tweeted out the same message but slightly differently. So the first time I tweeted out something just like I did there. Watch this video. Well, that didn't work. So what I'm going to do is try a different message. So what most people don't realize is when I tweet out this message, it's only going out to my followers. I happen to have 52,000 followers, so I'm kind of blessed in the respect that I have a lot of people that are potentially going to see it. But sometimes my followers are following a lot of people, and they don't necessarily see my tweets. So one thing is if you tweet more, you'll generally get more noticed. But another thing that most people don't realize is that in order to go beyond your followers, you have to use hashtags. And a hashtag looks like the following. It just looks like a number symbol. And if you look right here on Twitter, you'll notice there's a bunch of hashtags that are trending right now in Canada, for example. I can change this to the US or wherever I want. But the point is, these are the trending ones. So people are actually following these conversations. So if I use one of these, I know a lot of people, because it's trending, I know a lot of people are using those hashtags and are following those conversations. So what I can do is actually use one of those trending ones. I'll use Toronto since I'm in Toronto. And what I'll do is I'll make it part of the sentence. So Toronto video on how to save your business from reputation attacks. See, I'm trying to make it more interesting. The more you can make it more engaging, the more likely people are to respond to it. So another thing you can do is if you see opportunities to get multiple hashtags, so business, a lot of people follow business as a hashtag. So I'll just make that word business a hashtag. Okay, so all of a sudden I have two hashtags. One is Toronto, which is trending, and I have a second one, which is business. A lot of people following business, and they might, want to see something about that, and a video would be great. So I'll do this tweet.
What I like that you also did there is you actually used an emotional word. I mean, the word attacks, because it's emotional, it gets people actually more involved. That's good.
Yeah, so the idea is to really engage people. Actually, just a quick aside story. One of the funniest tweet baiting tactics. Tweet baiting is really trying to encourage people to click your links within your tweets. One of the funniest ones was some guy, he created an affiliate link. So as the link that was being used by Bitly. And he knew that anytime somebody clicked that link, he would get 10 cents. So just by clicking it, he would make 10 cents. And what he did was he tweeted out the following: cure for cancer. See the story here. And he got, within 1 hour, over 100,000 clicks to his affiliate link. Of course, Twitter wasn't too happy about that, and they banned his account. So I don't recommend doing it. It was just really funny that he was able to just drive huge amounts of traffic to it by creating a really engaging link. Something where it said cure for cancer. I mean, that just gets everybody's attention. Okay, so he got killed for doing it because it was an affiliate link. But the point is, if you create something that's engaging, something that people will want to read more about, then you're going to have better results. Twitter is all about making your tweet stand out above the other ones. So we'll see how this one did. We'll check the results on that. So
actually, Alan, I have a question that came from that. So I mean, it's all about. Let's say you're using a hashtag. So there's going to be, I don't know, thousands, a million people using the same hashtag, especially if it's trending. So is there a certain time of day that you should actually be tweeting it, or what's some other most effective tactics to use to make sure that you're stand out and it's actually clicked on?
So generally, most people will use Twitter while they're at work. It's just like Facebook. So 9 Eastern to 3 o'clock Eastern is the best times. You'll also see another resurgence a little bit later because of the California time zone. But most people that are using Twitter are on the Eastern and Western time frames for North America. So tweeting within those work hours will generally get the best results. Tweeting on weekends doesn't get very good results, for example. Tweeting later in the day, like when people are close to finishing their work, not necessarily a good time either, because what will happen is they actually realize that they should do some work, and they'll stop tweeting. So tweet during the business hours, middle of the business hours is always the best.
Perfect. So right after this webinar, people should start tweeting.
Yes, totally. So I'm not sure if Bitly's stats are working. We've got to check this. But so far, nobody's been clicking my my tweet. I'm just going to click it myself just to make sure that it is working. Sometimes Bitly has its own issues. So actually, okay. So we just click it myself. I just want to make sure that the stats are working because sometimes they don't work. So let's see. I just clicked it. Now I did get 1 click. So obviously my message wasn't appealing enough still. So what I have to do is keep on tweaking it, and I'm not going to do that for the next 20 minutes because that'll drive you crazy. But what I was doing when I made the 20,000 was exactly this method. Just keep on tweeting similar messages trying different hashtags to encourage people to follow where they were beyond my followers, and keep on adjusting the message so that people would be more and more likely to click it and more engaged in the message. So what I was doing, and I'll explain the story of the 20,000. Here's how it worked. My business is SEO, which is search engine optimization. And I know that the biggest resellers of my business are web design companies. So if I can encourage web design companies to connect with me, just to make a connection with me, then I can get more business because they'll resell me to their clients. So when I first tweeted out, I tweeted out the following message. I said, I'm looking for web design companies to help me sell my services. Not a very good message, but that's what I said. It was my first test, and I got 0 response. Then I tweeted out again saying that I wanted web design companies who want to make more money through selling SEO services. So I was trying to engage them by, playing on the point that, hey, they can make money from it as well. So I got a few responses, but not really much. It was like a few people clicked, but no kind of feedback, no kind of engagement beyond just clicking the link. So I didn't see people contacting me through my form that I had on the page. They didn't really engage very much. The next time I tweeted out, I'm looking for web design companies. I have clients needing web design work. Please, click here for more details. I got a lot of response because now they were like, hey, this guy has clients. We can maybe get business from him. So once I made it a message that spoke to their business needs instead of my business needs, I did really well with that message. So what happened was actually I didn't necessarily get that much business from Twitter, but I took that real-life example, that testing ground of using Twitter to find the best message to make a phone call. I used the same message as a cold calling method, and I called 10 different companies. I had a list of 10 web design companies that were local, and I used that pitch, that same pitch. I have clients that need web design work. Do you think we can do an exchange of services? And it worked every time. 10 for 10, I got every single design company to agree to it. And what happened was I didn't necessarily give them business, but they didn't care because they actually needed my service as well. So me mentioning that I had clients was just an icebreaker. It allowed me to talk to them so that they felt a little bit at ease. I'm not trying to sell them anything at that point. They felt comfortable. And what happened was I had got a bunch of big clients, and it was within 1 hour I had $20,000 worth of business. I was quite happy.
Wow. So I think what you're really, if I can sum it up, is knowing your audience in any avenue that you're actually communicating. So always starting with the you rather than the I.
Exactly.
So even on Twitter. Exactly.
Yep. So the biggest mistake people make, and the thing that annoys people the most on Twitter, is they talk about the I too much. I'm drinking a cup of coffee. I'm having a bad day, or something like, where it's just a whole bunch of comments about themselves, and it gets really boring. It's just like if you're having a conversation with somebody and they just talk about I did this, I did that. But, it gets really, really boring quick. So if people engage people by saying, hey, what are you doing? Or, try to learn more about the person that they're talking to, or learn more about what the person is interested in that they're talking to.
Right.
Then you'll have way better results.
So I like that you actually focused on a specific target market. And the other thing that I like that you did is that you actually, instead of just going for the end customer, who would be a small business owner or a medium-sized business owner who actually needed SEO, you actually looked for channel partners. Yeah. And then it seems to me that once you figured out who your channel partner was, you ended up thinking, okay, so what does a channel partner actually care about? So that was interesting that you actually didn't go just to a mid-sized company. You actually worried about the channel partners. Now, I guess my question is, you can see all the trending, but how do you know who website companies or what they're looking at, or do you just have to guess what hashtags they're following?
Okay, so that's a good question. Great question, actually. There's a trick to finding out what hashtags to use. So if I was going to go back to the web design example, what I would do is I would find web design companies. So what you can do quickly is do a search, web design, okay? If you do that, you should find a few web design companies. Actually, I see some already recommended. So the point is, what you do is you do a quick search, web design companies, and Twitter's always slow, just so you know. But you'll see, these are all, right now you'll see a whole bunch, SD Designs, all these companies where they're talking about web design. Often, they will use hashtags themselves, okay? So what you can do is if you notice a pattern where they're using the same hashtag, all of them, like web, it could be web design or it could be some kind of hashtag, what you can do is you click onto that hashtag. So I saw one up here where it says Web Design Trends 2013. So I'll click on that. Okay. And then if I click on that hashtag, now I can see all the people that are talking about that. Now, if I see that there's a lot of activity on that hashtag, then I know that that's a good hashtag to use. Because, for example, this one, not so good. It's a so-so one. Because there's somebody on February 24th that talked about it, then 25 minutes ago, 13 hours ago, 17 hours ago. That's really not that much activity for a hashtag. I'll show you the comparative of a trending one, and you'll see how much activity a trending one has. But the point is, what I'm going to do is try to find the best hashtags based on activity that are happening. So you'll notice 19 minutes, 22 minutes. It's a lot of activity. Within the last hour, there was 20 different people talking about it. That's why it's trending. So what I want to do is do searches for the industries that I'm interested in, find out what hashtags they use, click on those hashtags, and then see how much activity is happening on those hashtags, and then pick the ones that get the most activity, because then I know that people are really listening to those hashtags. So a hashtag is just really engaging a conversation. So if you pick the right hashtags, you can engage a lot of people, okay? So it's a way of going beyond what your following is. And I actually have a real example of this where I created an account, and I'll show you it. It's a bit of a joke account, but it was a test one. I like to test stuff when I do things with marketing. And let me see, maybe that's not it. Maybe. Okay, should be. Yeah, this is it here. Okay, I haven't used this account for a long time. You'll see that I haven't used it since November of 2010. So I haven't used this account for a while, but it was a test account. And you'll notice it still has 4,000 followers. What I did was I created this image. That's actually, what's her name? The singer.
Mariah Carey?
Mariah Carey. That's Mariah Carey. That's a picture of Mariah Carey. I expanded it to make her look fat. And what I did was I created a persona on Twitter about a girl trying to lose weight. So the goal is to learn about fitness and the secret of losing weight. And what I did was I gathered a whole bunch of affiliate links for losing weight. And there's a lot of affiliate programs for that topic. And what I did was I had no followers when I first started it. But what I did was I used good hashtags and cute messages to really engage people. And with over a weekend, from having an account that was totally dead to an account that had about 300-400 followers at the end of the weekend, I was able to convert about 300 people to my affiliate links. So over a 2-day period, 300 people came into affiliate links. And
you did that on a weekend, and a weekend was a good time.
Yeah, it was even a good time to do it. But it was a test. It was just to see how many people would go to affiliate links. An affiliate link will make you about $50 per every 2 clicks. So, not too bad for a weekend. You send 300 people to those affiliate links. So yeah, it's a very simple process that I use, and it's really using the tricks that I'm teaching you right now, where it's all about creating great messages that are engaging, always using a link that you're going to use to convert people, and then using hashtags that take it that step further to embrace people that you don't even know, because you can get a whole bunch of followers from it, and also you can get the message out beyond the number of people that are following you, and that's really important. So what I'm going to do is wrap up and just say that I'm trying to just wrap it up so that I really want people to understand just tweet baiting as a topic. There's a lot of great tricks that you can add to this, that you can take it one step further to really make your tweets clickable. What you can do is the following. You can add quotes to it. People love quotes, so you can do a daily quote. Another thing is you can use popular daily hashtags. For example, FS is Follow Friday. And if you use that hashtag on a Friday, you'll actually get a lot of people watching that tweet. So you can use those. And another thing that you can do is ask questions. People are afraid to ask questions a lot. They think that they just have to put a message out there. Well, ask a question or make a statement like, for example, which is better, Star Wars or Avatar? And if you say that kind of question where people are going to have opinions about it, you'll get a lot of response. So these are all kind of ways of baiting people to click your links. So encouraging something that's very engaging. You got to write something super, super engaging. So and the cool thing is, if you use Bitly or some kind of program that can monitor that how many people click that link, you can actually see whether your message was effective or not. So you just keep on tailoring your message and getting better at fine-tuning it until you create the perfect message and it gets the activity that you're looking for. So I hope all these tricks help. I'm willing to answer any questions about Twitter, even outside of tweet baiting. But that's all for today.
Okay, Alan, I'm just going to sum up. Thanks so much. I'm going to sum up what I heard in today's meeting just as a recap for everybody. So we basically covered tweet baiting, and we started with bit.ly.com. So that was a way to actually shorten how long your link is, and that's to give you more space when you have the 140 characters. So that's really great. The next thing that we did was a lot of testing on that, and we also learned about hashtags and how to use them and how to understand what's trending, as well as the best time to actually do the tweeting, which is 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The next thing that we did was talk about understanding your audience, so using emotional words and focusing on them versus yourself. The other thing was to actually find hashtags that your target market is following and how to do that. So how to search for that, find what your target market's actually using, and then to see how often that hashtag's being used. So actually seeing how often within the last hour it's been used. And then finally, other tips and tricks were the quote of the day, as well as the hashtag FF for Fridays, and ask questions that generate interest. So at this point in time, what I'm going to do is stop the recording.